Happy Saturday, Jenny.
Hello, Ross.
Here we are doing our joint vlog.
On your very first episode, you mentioned that you went to the movies with Dad, and Lena commented that she didn't think Dad ever went to the movies, that Papa Tom, as she would call him, ever went to the movies. And I thought, that's true. He did never go to the movies. I only went to the movies with him once, and that was to see E.T. when I was about 5. So was Jurassic World the only time that you went to the movies with Dad?
As far as I remember, Jurassic World was the only time, and yeah, so that kind of makes it a big deal, and
Yeah.
it's kind of nice and sort of reinforcing. Lena kind of has a similar view on like that. It was a really unique experience.
Right. Okay. Well, great. So he only went to the movies with me once. Well, it was both mom and dad. But I went to 2 Broadway musicals with him and to an opera.
I know, which is actually kind of like an interesting like testament to his character that he can definitely surprise you.
Right. So the fun thing about when we went to the opera, I had already seen La Traviata, which is in Italian. I'd seen it up in Charlotte, and when it was in Italian, they had subtitles on the bottom. And so we were in Brevard, and we went and saw Faust, which was originally in
Is
French.
that the music center?
Yeah, we went to the Brevard Music Center, and we went and saw Faust. And I told him, I said, well, they'll probably have this like a marquee at the bottom that has subtitles. It'll be great. And he goes, well, I did take French in high school. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And we get there, and he leans over to me and he goes, turns out I remember a lot more French than I thought because they had translated it into English.
Oh.
So that was our experience at the opera.
Kind of talk about like how we kind of went to the same schools, like that sort of thing in Lancaster.
Well, because that was in a different video, I talked about how I went to Bar Street Junior High, but you went to Bar Street Middle School.
That's right, which is now Bar Street Correctional Facility.
Exactly. That's just quite fitting for Lancaster. But
right. Hurricane Hugo.
Oh yeah.
Right, so that was a big deal, right?
It was a big deal.
Let me start with some of my memories, and then you can fill
so
everybody
you
else
do
in
remember
with,
how
like,
you
what actually happened.
Okay, sure. Which also might be sketchy, but yeah.
So I think Hurricane Hugo is super fascinating because it's kind of an example of something that a lot of people will never fully understand or experience. So that's what I think it'd be kind of cool to talk about. Because I bring it up to people, or people bring it up to me. They're like, "Can you imagine like living through a hurricane or the power going out for more than a day?" And I'm like, "Power going out for more than a day? When it went out for Hugo, it went out for like 2 weeks."
Right.
So I remember waking up in the middle of the night, like I don't know, when you're little, you don't know what time it is, but pitch dark, and it was loud outside, and everybody else was asleep. And I went into I guess the living room of the old house. It was one of the rooms where the windows looked out, and there was like the front porch area and like the bushes right there. And I remember the bushes, the shrubs, were moving in ways I've never seen. Like they were moving like completely to one side and then completely to the other side. And these are like, I don't know, they're probably only like 3 or 4 feet tall shrubs, and pretty like rigid. Like they don't normally move that much. And I remember kind of being like super freaked out about how much these shrubs were just like going, and it was noisy, but everybody else was asleep. And I went and did exactly what I think Thomas is probably going to do to me pretty soon. I went to mom and dad's room, and I like stood next to their room and like, Dad, you have to see this. And he's like, you need to get back to bed.
Right.
And I'm like, no, like something is wrong. Something is very wrong outside, and you need to see this. And so he ended up getting up, and I think eventually everybody ended up getting up.
Right.
And that's kind of like where my memories start to fade off. But then I remember at one point, probably that same night, I think Moses got let out at one point. The power went out, and then we like lit a bunch of candles, which is like super like kind of cool and exciting for a 4-year-old. And like so yeah, we were doing everything like walking around the house, like listening. I might be misremembered, but I think there was one point where we were like in the middle of the storm, like the eye of the storm, because everything got like really quiet again, and then the storm picked back up, and then I think like you could hear like pine trees like snapping outside and things like that, and that was weird and exciting. And then of course like the next day like we just didn't have power and everything was interesting. But Grandma I think came down at one point. to help pick up like the yard. I think we went to the high school for like showers and food. I don't think I showered there. I think we went to the high school in Pueblo for like a meal. I think they were serving like spaghetti meals there, and that's really about it for my memories of Hurricane Hugo.
So interesting thing, listening to you. So you were 4 during Hurricane Hugo?
Yeah.
I would have been 13. I don't remember 90% of what you just said. You were 4 and I was 13. Like that, I'm kind of concerned about myself. So I don't remember taking showers in high school.
This is off subject, but there's actually a big thing about that. Like the part of that whole transition into being a teenager, I don't hardly remember being a 13-year-old either. Right? But I think it's
just
because
blocked it all out.
Right, because like your brain, that gray matter thing, like your brain is transitioning from like one stage to another. Like there's like, it's pretty common to not remember your teenage years very well.
All right, well now I feel better. Like, wow, let's go back to that whole dementia part and be like, oh crap.
And beyond the fact that I might be misremembering from telling myself the story,
or mom has
again,
told you, or dad told you, or whatever, and so you kind of created a memory. That's true.
And at 4, that's also your very first memory, so some of those get lost.
That's true. It was a pretty serious emotional event for you.
Right.
Because, so I'm pretty sure that Moses was in the house because a tree fell on his dog lot. I don't remember how long the power was out. I really have no memory of showering at the high school, and I promise you that at 13 I would have remembered that. That would have been traumatic for me because a 13-year-old girl showering in a weird spot, that's just like, oh, I'm going to die of embarrassment kind of thing. But I guess everybody would have.
Well, like I said, I don't remember actually showering there.
That's
I think
because
it was
you
just
didn't shower at that age.
Well, there's that too.
Because I don't remember the power being out for a long time. I think it was out for a few days. I don't remember it being out for 2 weeks. Yeah, we had a number of trees. That tree snapping thing was totally true. We could hear, and we're hearing trees fall, and we're wondering, are trees going to fall on our house?
I remember there being like just sticks. Everywhere. Like the whole yard was just sticks.
Right. But it was really dark when the hurricane really came through Lancaster. So we could only hear it and just very briefly see things. We could not see any of the widespread destruction like you see on the Weather Channel or whatever when a hurricane comes through during the day. And it was just you sit and wait.
In the dark in your house, and you're just like hoping.
We survived Hugo.
Yeah, we survived Hugo.
If you enjoyed our video, press like and subscribe.
If you like this, like and subscribe. See you in the next video.
Bye, everybody.
All right, bye. Love you guys.
Well, I was just going to cut that part out because there's people walking by.
Are you recording?
Yeah, we're totally
okay.
We're going to edit crap.
We're going to cut
We're
off.
going to take the babies out.
Okay. We're going to have a bloopers reel, and it'll just be Lena and the dogs and Ashlyn.
A montage. We're going to have a montage.
Right.
And make some good music.